Hey guys, it's MBSC1 again, and I want to be talking about my metagame predictions for these upcoming tournaments. I believe States is the next big tournament cycle thing that's coming up. And with the release of X and Y, some decks have gotten, I think some decks are going to gain some popularity and some are going to lose popularity. Also, I think Dragonite's going to get more popular since I think it got 6th at regionals and 1st at another one. So I think that's going to get more popular. I'll get right into the percentages that I think people will play. For Rayquaza Emboar, I'm predicting 11 to 15% because um, I'm expecting it to be the new Blastoise, really, because it's just doing really well. It got first at the regionals I went to, and a lot of people were playing it the next day when we were doing a cities. Um, I know it won another, or it top, let's see, three top eighted at another regionals, and it's just gaining a lot more play. I think people really see it as a good deck right now just because of Rizzy and Genesect's popularity. That's really the only reason you would play it, is because of Rizzy and Genesect being popular. It's clearly worse than Blastoise unless you're doing a mirror because there's less energy cost for the attacks, so Raywar usually wins the mirror. But either way, it's really only good when Rizzy and Genesect is popular, and I believe that Rizzy and Genesect will stay popular even after these new decks come out. I'm predicting people's choices with their decks to stay pretty much the same, just because they don't know what the metagame is going to be, so they're just going to stick with something they're used to, which is a good strategy. I believe you should do that. I think that's a good idea. I think about 13 to 15 people, or not people, percent will play Blastoise. Um, Blastoise is a deck that it's just going to be good forever. I mean, it's been good since it came out, and I mean, just the ability to one-shot every turn, it just makes it a good deck. That's why Rails did so well for so long, too. Yeah, and people consistently play it. Like I talked about in my last video, I have a couple friends, and they just stick with Blastoise, and they don't switch decks ever. It's kind of weird. It's like a certain type of person that really likes playing Blastoise. They just tend to stick with it. It's kind of strange. So yeah, so I think 13 to 15% will be playing Blastoise. Big Basic Scarbador is popular in my area. For some reason, a lot of California people like to play Big Basic Scarbador, myself included, because I played it at the regionals. So down here, it'll be more, I think, but in general, I think it'll only get like 2 to 5% play. And just so you guys know, I'm only going over the decks that I consider to be Tier 1 or Tier 1.5. You know, only like the really good decks, really. Then with Plasma decks, I'm thinking 14 to 18%. Just because Plasma decks are kind of the decks that you give to someone who's new to the game. They're pretty simple, and they're still really good. So, like, if that's the type of deck you kind of default to, if you haven't been playing in a long time, or if you got a friend that wants to try it out. So I think that it'll still be pretty prominent, especially because it's still really cheap, too, and it doesn't require a lot of thinking. So I said 14 to 18%. Probably probably higher on the higher side, to be honest, because it's also another deck that's pretty much good against everything. It doesn't have any really horrible matchups. So it's going to be one of those decks that people will play at regionals and states and stuff because they feel like if they don't know what the metagame is, it's just a pretty good call to use that deck. Then there's Rizzy and Genesect. Another pretty straightforward deck. You just kind of attach and G-Booster when you got energy set up and stuff. I'm predicting 14 to 18%, same as Plasma. Yeah, I just think people are going to keep playing it for the same reasons, really. It's just something they've been playing for a while, and it's not really going to get any worse, so why not keep playing it? I actually dropped it. Originally, I had, like, higher, like, probably around 19%, like 17 to 21% or something like that. But since I believe that Raybor is going to get more popular, I dropped it down because I think other people are going to realize that and stop playing it. Then there's Darkrai Garbodor. I'm thinking like 8 to 10%. That might be shooting a little high actually, but you know, it's a good deck. People like myself like to use it. I know in Boston, like tons of people run Darkrai Garbodor. Around here, it's not as popular. Around here, like Rizzy and Genesect, Plasma, and Big Basics are pretty much those are big decks over here. But just over the whole world on average, I want to say around 10% for Darkrai. And then any other Darkrai variants. So originally I had this at only like 5%. This includes Hydreigon, by the way. It includes Darkrai Yveltal, just straight Darkrai. All of the variants basically. I think 5 to 10%, just because Yveltal is coming out, and I think people are gonna want to try to use it in a Darkrai deck and see how they do. That's why I think it might get up to 10%. But who knows? People might try it out and not like it, and so it could only be seeing like 5%. Then there's Empoleon. This deck has really dropped in play. It seems like to me. Maybe it's just my area. But people really stopped using it quickly. I saw it for like a month, and then it just went away. It's crazy. So I'm predicting only 3 to 6%. It might be different for your area. People over where you live might think, this is a great deck, and they might run it more. But for my area, it's not that popular right now, and I don't think it'll gain any popularity because I don't see anything that would make it any better coming out in the set, in the next set. Then I'm saying about 5 to 10% for Dragonite. So probably leaning more towards 5, but in my area, people tend to jump on the bandwagon with decks that are good. So like a lot of people are running Dragonite now just because it did well at the last tournament. I think it'll probably settle down and a lot less people are gonna run it. But as it is now, it's probably more like 15% in the area I'm in. And then for everything else, those are just rogue decks like Flareon, and then there's like Ho-Oh, Excelgor decks, and just everything else I think is going to be 10 to 15%. I was going to assign a percentage for Trevenant Excelgor because I believe that's going to be popular soon, just because it's Gothitelle Excelgor but better. I think that if I had to assign a percentage, I'm really not sure, but I'd guess like around 7% of people would play that. As you can tell, these aren't exact numbers. I just made a little range because it's going to be different for everybody. Excuse me. So yeah, I guess that's about it. I'm also gonna make a video after this about why Yveltal is bad, but well, not why it's bad, but why it's not as good as everyone thinks it is. So thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want, like if you like the video, and comment if you want to tell me something. Thanks for watching.